Welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that wants to go into the battle room for the most epic game of laser tag. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad, and today we're talking about the new film Ender's Game.
And then on Thursday, we're going to be finally talking about the finale of Breaking Bad. We wanted to make sure everyone got a chance to catch up on it. Spoilers abound in that episode, so, watch the series before you watch that.
For sure. As always, you can check us out over Twitter at Epic Geek Out. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Epic Geek Out, and also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com. But let's get into the battle room and give in our review of Ender's Game. So Ender's Game, the movie, it's directed by Gavin Hood, and it is based on the Orson Scott Card book, Ender's Game, aptly titled. It follows the story of Enders Wiggins, who is the third born in a family, and he's kind of born for the idea that he is going to kind of lead the army, the international army, against, an alien race that, 50 years prior, there was a big battle on Earth, and now, we're kind of taking the fight to them. Mm-hmm. We saw it in 2D. I think it's offered in 3D as well. But, it's a very famous book. It has a long series of sequels. There's also, a parallel book called Ender Shadow, which is the story of Bean, who's another character. I've read the books. One or two of the sequels, and not Ender Shadow, but you read half the book, right? Half the book and the Wikipedia article to say the next. But what do you think of the movie?
I really liked it. I was kind of worried because it's a kid. It's a lot of kids in this.
Well, this movie was supposed to be made many times, but they've never felt that the kids could actually hold the gravity to the film itself. It is a very adult subject matter.
And that's the biggest worry going into it. I think, while not the best performance I've ever seen, it's not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Ender's pretty decent. I think his character's supposed to be a little bit more of a stone-faced, not showing as much emotion. And then when that emotion does creep through, it's kind of disjointed and odd, right? So he did that really well, I thought. The story was awesome. I think the effects really have gotten to the point where they're able to make this. I don't know how they would have made this even 10 years ago, let alone, however many years ago that the book was written, and they wanted to make a film. I think that's all that kind of could be realized at this point, which was pretty awesome. It felt weird because it was sort of a little rushed, but that's nature of a film. Because he goes through multiple changes in this, and that's his story is just him rising to kind of the top ranks in their futuristic
in the commander school,
and it seemed a little quick at some points, and others, seemed more appropriate. So maybe I know they're trying to get to that end sort of sequence, but maybe
this one book could have been split into a trilogy.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would have worked though.
No, I don't think it would have worked either. But they packed a lot into it, and they left some of the storylines out from the book. But it was a lot packed into only a less than 2 hour movie. It wasn't even the 2.5 hour movie that we do get sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think for this being an high action sci-fi film, there was way more character development than I thought there would be, and you kind of understood each character and what motivated them, and why they sort of did the things they did. But they did it really smartly and quickly and didn't spend a lot of time on them, but they communicated it well. So I think that's a testament to the screenplay.
And also a lot of the action is training. It's no stakes training of the kids, so they have to make you feel like there are some stakes to it. Right. And then they did that by having the character development because, a lot of it is just training simulations and things like that. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it definitely did a good job, I think, with as good as it could do, and everything was pretty decent from top to bottom. I think the action was pretty good for being training,
we get Harrison Ford in space again.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job with his character. The ending portion of this, I didn't really see coming. I kind of sort of, that could be that, I don't know, but it was kind of a surprise as it should have been. So it's a nice reveal. The very tag end of it where there's, I don't want to say what it is, but I didn't really like that, but that's again from the book, so I know why they did that. But But yeah, it deals with some. I would have liked more of like the post that reveal, seeing how he reacted to that, because I was really interested when he sort of had his reactions on sort of his place in the world and what they've raised him to do. And I thought that was a really interesting dichotomy for a kid to experience that. And I think that could have been a cool thing to explore. Maybe in future films if they have them, I don't know. But I really liked the story, but it's a testament more, I guess, to the novel than the movie.
Sure.
But they did a good job.
Yeah, I was excited when I first heard that this was being made into a movie. And then as I started to see things, I lost some excitement to see the movie. But I really enjoyed my time with this film. I think the character development, like you said, is something that's very important to this movie. It was done well enough. There's some other like levels that I would have, liked to see his brother and sister more invested in it. His brother, you really kind of you don't get much time with. And he has a much larger story in the books. But I think just everything felt kind of how I imagined it. The battle school, the trainings. I mean, again, things in the book do take a longer period of time to happen. I understand why it was shorter in the movies, because, you're getting it all into one. The sequels go into a very different level of sci-fi. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if a sequel does get made and how they're able to kind of appease the younger audience, which I think this had a lot of moments of that. Some of the side characters I would have liked to see more time with. Bean, who's a great character in the book, I would have liked to see more of in the movie. But overall, I think the graphics, the visual effects of this movie really allowed it to shine. The battle school showing the formations, things like that, the different planets, and just, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the film. I think it had good action, and just, it was good across the board.
Yeah, and Ben Kingsley is in this movie. Yeah. I was like, halfway through, I was like, what the heck? Like, oh, that guy was in this movie. What's going on? And then, unfortunately, that kind of ruined, because I kind of figured out who he was going to be, but, whatever.
Which, again, if you don't know the book, I mean, you know it's going to happen if you didn't read it. I wish they didn't even show him in the previews. I don't think there's, the Ben Kingsley fan clubs that's like, oh, I got to go see this movie. Ben Kingsley's in it.
I mean, it's only lens for a kid, mostly kid
German cast.
It's nice to see. I think that's kind of why they push those two, because Harrison Ford and Ben Kingsley give you kind of more confidence.
And Harrison Ford, I think did a really good job. He's supposed to be this. Colonel Graff's character is the mentor, father figure, kind of, but he can't be too attached to the kids because what he's asking of them to do. So a lot of levels of it's kids who are now experiencing traumatic events, going through the worst, and it was good. I think it had some good themes to it, but that's a credit to the book itself. Yeah. And I think that it captured it all in well and did pay tribute to the book.
One of the things that they didn't explain a lot, which I wish they would have gone into more, is like why they needed kids for this. Because they kind of had one throwaway line on like they're able to process things better than adults. Yeah. But that was kind of like weird. I didn't really necessarily buy that.
Yeah, I mean, in the book, it's like they want the clean slate of them to go through the training and they, I mean, you see how they have every, like, there's a thing of mental for this, they're making this kid, alienating one of them so he could be a better leader. I mean, they're really toying with these kids so they can be the ultimate leader, is kind of what they're getting at.
That was
but yeah,
a little foggy in the film. But,
and I sort of thought that in the book, too, because, like, kind of in the last scene, why let him just control it? Because, like, I think there was more doubt maybe in the book as to what was going to happen. Instead, I mean, someone from the controls up top could have just taken over and be like, oh, let's finish this. Let's not put this kid through all that crap. Let's
kind of spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the just what he had to do in the final scene. Right. I don't know, but yes, that is certainly a complaint. But
yeah, definitely. So I think check it out. It's definitely a nice surprise for this time of year to see this kind of sci-fi film to come out and be decent, so it seemed like the theater was pretty full too, so I know it wasn't projected to make a ton of money, but I'm hoping
it's doing well. I think like on the 30 million mark, which isn't crazy good, but yeah.
So check out Ender's Game.
It's that time of the episode where we like to give our thanks. Chad, what are you thankful for today?
Some news came out this week about a film that I really enjoy coming out with a sequel, Trick or Treat, which was a Halloween film that
Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah,
Trick
okay.
or Treat. 'Cause it's Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat, but it's not or.
Okay,
It's R.
gotcha.
Trick or Treat.
Okay.
Trick or Treat. Anyways, it's a kind of like a cult film. It's it's out on video. They actually FearNet had a 24-hour marathon of it on Halloween, and it's kind of like a small vignettes of 3 different stories around Halloween. They kind of sort of intermingle a little bit, and kind of like weird supernatural stuff mixed with like just funny, like crazy murderous stuff, and it's a really interesting film, I think, and it's one that didn't get a lot of press when it came out. It took a while to actually.
Was it
come
straight
out
to
on video.
DVD?
Yeah, I believe it was, and it kind of like went through all this production issues because no one wanted to release it based on what it was, and the director refused to change it, and kind of ended up being this awesome cult film because he refused to change it. So I'm really excited to see that they're actually coming out with a sequel for it. I think that's a really good testament for and vindication for the director. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if it's going to like continue some of the stories or just be 3 new stories. I don't know.
I'll need to watch that. I've actually never seen it.
It's pretty good.
I would also like to thank a movie. I got the chance this week. I went to Redbox and I rented Before Midnight, which is the last film in the Richard Linklater series with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, I believe. And these movies are tremendous. I was talking with a friend last night, and this is up there in top 5 trilogies for me. I mean, it doesn't follow the normal trilogies because you're thinking Batman, you're thinking, Star Wars, things like that. But these movies are so well done, and they do something that other movies really... One's its own thing, same characters, the second one something different, and the third one is something different. It's the same characters, but it is so true to life and true to how things work in the real world. I appreciated the hell out of it. Don't see Before Midnight before you saw, the other 2 beforehand. These movies are long conversational movies of just really the interactions between the 2 main characters, and they're all about different stages of relationships, but they are so well done. I think a real testament to a certain kind of filmmaking of this just like, not, I don't even say low scale, but just low production of, it's a conversation and how powerful words can be. I loved it. I think everyone should check them out. I mean, I think that they're just fantastic movies.
I really tried to check out the first one, but it's really dated.
It is really dated, and these follow the stories. I think it's 8 years, then the next one happened, and it also is 8 years of the character's life, and then this one is now 8 years after that, and it's also 8 years of the character's life. Really tremendous, and it's based on a story of something that happened to him in Philadelphia. He met a girl, and then actually, had this kind of one night of, kind of romance and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're great movies, so check them out.
Cool. So we'll be back next time talking about the Breaking Bad finale, finally giving our thoughts and recaps of the series and the finale. So make sure you check back for that. But thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you next time.